Hi, I'm Ross Lazaroo-Hood, entrepreneur, philanthropist and family man. This is my podcast, In Conversation With. From the boardroom, back to the beginnings, to the present with my guests, talking about business, family and sport. Today we're in Ealing, part of our London, and here to meet Liam MacDevitt, sports personality, up-and-coming presenter and ex-professional footballer. His journey's been incredible. His story, I can't wait to hear it. Hi Liam.
All good, how's it going?
Not bad at all.
Okay?
Thank you for coming on my podcast today.
On my one arm, but we're all good.
You're injured, at least it's nothing to do with me.
No, exactly, it's good to be outside.
Well, thank you for joining me at Ealing. This is your hunt.
Yeah, welcome to my area.
I like it. As Americans say, the crib, isn't it? We're going down through. Can I ask the first question of your childhood and how that has shaped your business? I suppose it's you're building a big PR side for you at the moment and the presenting. But how do you think that has affected or assisted you in growth?
I guess my kind of family upbringing, it was just me and my mum real close, and then her family, and I guess seeing how hard she had me at 19 years of age, seeing single mum, working hard, leaving the house at 8, back at 7, and just to kind of provide a life for me to be able to, if I wanted to go to football, I wanted to go on school trips. She worked super hard to kind of make that happen. So I think seeing how hard you have to work to get the things you want has definitely been something that I've had in me from a young age and just tried to continue to have. And then if I look at every stage of my life and my career, whether it was trying to play professional football or getting into television, I think that's one thing anyone would say is that I worked as hard as possible.
You grafted.
Yeah, so I got no issues with not quite making it at the football because I gave it everything I could.
There's no hiding for you, really.
Landed in a job which I'm clearly a bit better at in broadcasting, but I think at the core of all that is just coming from a really hard-working family who are ambitious as well.
And that they're single parent who provided for you. It's very similar to me. My mum, a single parent, she was my idol and she helped 4 sons grow up and now we look after her. So it's quite similar for you at the same time.
I should be looking after her a bit more than I do, to be fair, but I'll pay her back at some point.
Yeah, I'm with you in that too. And I suppose that leads directly into the next question is, what drives you? What drives your successes?
I was thinking about this. I think it's just, I only really want to spend my time doing something I love. Mm-hmm. And I think I loved playing sport, so I wanted to give sport the best chance I could possible. And now I love speaking to people, I love interviewing people, I love presenting, I love the whole production of TV. And I think for me, it's like a case of, I don't want to spend a day doing something I don't love. No. So for me to do that, I have to make sure that I'm good at what I do. So I think the thing that drives all of that is just wanting to make sure that every day I'm showing up to something I want to do.
You can see through it. Yeah.
I know I don't have it in me mentally to do a job that I'm not passionate about, and I might be in a competitive industry, but if I just refuse to do something I don't love, and I think that's at the core of kind of everything I do.
Well, I think that's it, and I'm a big believer that find something that you love, find something that you can be passionate about, and that you wake up in the morning and yes, it's work, but it doesn't feel completely like it, and you actually care about what you do too. And, I've seen a lot of your stuff, and I think it's brilliant how you make people at ease. But then it's also, you're taking a passion of yours with football, and then sport as well, because you're not just doing football anymore. You're doing motorsport and other bits as well. Yeah,
it's that exact thing. I guess you find your skills. Some people's it's being outside, making all these houses. Some people it's picking up the phone and selling to people. For me, I love talking to people and I love making content and I love meeting interesting people and finding more out about them, just like you are today. So I guess it's just, that's the thing. If you do love it and it is something you're passionate about, like you said, don't make a day feel like work.
No, and for you as well, you are like a storyteller. You're part of that generation to help people leave a legacy on camera, which I respect massively. I guess
I'm in a lucky generation where I got my first camera I got given was a digital camera, so I've kind of always grown up with, my granddad was a keen photographer, so that element of storytelling and always wanting to take pictures, and then that kind of transitioned into what I then studied at university. So I guess you are a product of your environment, and mine was definitely full of, honestly, he'd come and watch me play football and there'd be 5,000 photos kind of job on the computer after. And I think I guess being used to always having a camera in your face and learning how a camera works, and I think the older I get and I look back at those times, that's definitely played a big impact in kind of where I am now and what I do.
And I suppose that leads me into your charitable side. You know, you're passionate about sport, you're passionate about presenting and growing within that part of your career. But I suppose one thing people would like to hear about, and I definitely do, is your charitable side and the fact that you threw yourself into Street Child.
Yeah, an incredible organisation. It was actually my first taste of I guess freelance journalism in sense. Got to go to Moscow, which was an amazing, I say an amazing country. It was beautiful, but it was very racist. But it was. I'm glad I got to go and see it. Yeah, Street Child is I guess for football has the power for me anyway to transform so many people's lives. And I guess the power of it is that anywhere you go in the world, even if you can't speak the language, you can kick a ball between the pair of you.
Yep.
And seeing people from Mozambique, from India, who were orphans, who didn't even have kind of birth certificates, get given birth certificates to go to this football tournament in Moscow of all places was incredible. And I think since then I've become ambassador for a charity called Alive and Kicking,
Oh, cool.
who make non-profit footballs.
Is that UK based or?
No, so they're in Nairobi. They've got a few different stations in Africa, and they've kind of taught the local people how to make these amazing pieces of art football, which then the money gets them re-put into the community for education courses. I'm planning on hopefully getting out there for this year, but we did the Three Peaks Challenge last year, raised £10,000 for them. Which
Not
was
with my
amazing.
dad body, but yeah.
Yeah, I did. In December, it was freezing, but I guess for me, it's like something I want to do more of. I'm kind of aware that when I grew up, we had Reggie Yates,
Yes.
Trevor McDonald, Craig David, and maybe one or two others on the TV. And now, luckily, the landscape's changed, but I'm trying to just always stay conscious of the fact of I represent people of colour and people who come from working class single parent
And Ireland.
and Ireland, of course. So it's not just about racial diversity, but also social diversity. I think it's just as important. And I think the further in my career, that sort of side of stuff is definitely something that I'd like to kind of delve more into.
Well, I think that's tremendous. Yeah, it is going to be announced shortly, but I'm just been the hydration partner for the Super Cup NI, which used to be the Milk Cup.
Yeah,
and it's great that the number from Mexico, the US, to other African.
Famous, the Milk Cup.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, maybe you'll come over and do some stuff with this too. It's only a week during the summer, but I can't wait because I love the beautiful game to help kids. And you cut away politics, you cut away everything, and it's just about kids being kids.
Completely.
And as you said, it's taking a ball and just having fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing, and it's been brought over to Northern Ireland for 41 years,
Amazing.
which people haven't got a clue about. And the fact you have all the big clubs. So maybe we do grab you at some point.
The soccer in Northern Ireland's good. The league's a strong league, isn't it? From all accounts.
Well, you've got Larne FC, where I'm from. They've done amazing. From 135 years it is. Came from nothing in 2017, couldn't play on the grounds, to now Irish Premiership champions. What do you call it? County Antrim Shield. Might even win the Irish Cup this year. And I just think it's been great to have a family of guys who've grown together and become the first professionally paid professional football team across the island. I think it's great. As you said, soccer, football, it's just brilliant the way it's going through.
League of Ireland too. It's a strong place to watch football over there for sure. So Milk Cup sounds fantastic.
Cool, I'll get you. Last question, which is, what would you say has been your ambitions and the fact of what you have succeeded in? Can you give us a bit of background of the fact of where you are now to where you would like to kind of go? I know you've mentioned there about being there as a hero, being somebody there almost as an ambassador for people of colour and also for a younger generation,
I guess it's so funny. I was having this chat with a good friend of mine who's also in the space, and it's like I'm ambitious, which is a double-edged sword really, because if you'd have told me that I was doing what I'm doing now a couple of years ago, I'd have bit someone's hand off. Like hosted at Monaco for the Champions League draw. I've met pretty much and interviewed nearly everyone I ever wanted to meet or idolised growing up. And I'm immensely grateful for that. But it's then when you're here and you've ticked off those things,
next goal.
It's like, what's next? So I guess at the minute, I'm in a point of kind of looking at what that looks like, because not that I ever really doubted or expected it to go the way it has, but I think for me it's just storytelling is like the thing I love most. And if I can take the skills I've learned over the last few years and maybe take the business into doing some more longer form documentary style stuff, I think telling the stories of people who might have stuff in common, who have been through similar stuff to I might have been through, I think it's all well and good having a platform and doing content that pays the bills, but it's then how do you use your platform to tell your story and leave a mark on the world that you're proud of, which is I guess the kind of point I'll hopefully get to in a few years, where I can get stuck into a few stories that mean a bit more to me.
Well, you leave a legacy. It's one thing. I think the beautiful part of camera is that you are able to leave a lasting legacy, both for your family, potentially kids, and it's also the fact that you can hopefully, I think you can, is diversify. And you said give real stories, like you said, it's both of us coming from single parents who are grafters, and it's real life stories. And you can maybe even the fact of show that sport presenting has opened that avenue up for you. I think it'd be great the fact of seeing you doing some stories on whatever media channel it would be, to champion. That just people there in society where we came from that are the unsung heroes.
I think it's often a thing I think about as I get older. It's often the things that you potentially were maybe not embarrassed of, or the things you hid when you were younger, whether it is single parent family who work really hard and sometimes things were tight. Those things when you're younger perhaps you're not as proud of. But then
sometimes you didn't have the levi. Parents getting picked for.
But then when you get to later in life and you kind of look at those experiences, it's something I think everyone should be proud of. Like my mum works as hard as she could to give me the best possible chance in anything I ever wanted to do, and that's like something I'm immensely proud of, whereas perhaps when you're younger you don't want to shout about stuff that's difficult as much.
Well, I think everyone has that in society, that you've got the middle classes and upper classes, and you almost inside yourself is like, oh, I don't want to say where I'm from or what house or flat or whatever you're in. But actually, it's grafting. Yeah, for sure. And it's the fact going, my mum did everything. There's times like for my one, my mum did without eating for a few days, so we could have a school jacket or some grub on the table. And I hope to instill that in my kids. It's just having that, I suppose, ethos of caring about work. And hopefully I instill that in my kids as well. And the same as you, it's also instilling it into people who's watching you. Yeah,
no, exactly that. And I'd like to think hopefully every time anyone watches a piece of content they get that I'm authentically myself, and that's something I want to keep moving forward for sure.
Liam, this is the kind of personal part of my podcast and quick fire. So who would you say is 3 inspirational heroes for you?
Wow, big question. 3 inspirational heroes. Lewis Hamilton, my all-time sporting GOAT. Everything he stands for, I think, is incredible. Yep. Big question.
I've got you pressure.
Can I go my mum?
Damn right, absolutely.
I think I wouldn't be here without my mum. And then I'll go with like a Barack Obama, someone who's just like at the top of everything, broke down a load of doors.
Oh, massively, he's broke down so many doors. Him and his wife is a great partnership as well. And 3 destinations of holiday that you would either like to go or would like to actually go to?
No, my mum lived in Malaysia for 6 years or so.
My wife's Malaysian.
Yeah, Malaysia's one of my favourite places on earth. Penang specifically, I adore. Malaysia. I'd love to get to Southern America. That's kind of high up on my list. And I'll go with somewhere. I'd like to see more of Africa. You know, I think it's a underappreciated continent, and I'd like to get to maybe some of the eastern side of Africa. I'd like to visit.
Eastern, I've loved it. I've done West and Central, and we bring the kids to give them the culture, like we were talking about earlier. I just love the fact my kids can be absorbed in and actually appreciate all different cultures, and I think that's something at London we get it all the time.
For sure.
But I think big time within that sort of area, and I suppose that leads into you've got holidays, free foods that you can't do without.
Free food. See, I'm a big foodie. I'd say I've got to go with Caribbean food. Like my death meal, my death row meal has to be like jerk chicken, curry goat, bit of plantain, dumplings, rice and peas. Perfect. And then, you know, a dosa. You had a dosa? Yeah. I love South Indian food. And then I'll go with
lentils and all that.
Yeah, I just got a pizza oven. Naples, I love going to Naples. So I'd go pizza, Caribbean food, and then like a South Indian dish, like a dosa.
See, I'm just feeling the carbs.
I know, major carbs. My tummy hates me already.
But it's comfort food.
Yeah. It's just like, it's good for the soul food, I call it.
Well, that's it. And like, you've just hit every single part from Caribbean, Indian, all the way through to the pizzas and Italian. I think it's great. And from there, what would you say 3 steps to success, which your career has, I suppose, focused and you could actually share?
I think hard work for sure, resilience. I think one thing professional sports teaches you is you just get used to no's, you get used to rejection. That's an incredible skill to have. And then the last one I think is just value people. Whether it's, for me anyway, I'm in a competitive space, you have 2 choices. You either can be eaten up and jealous at the fact people might be getting your work, or you just support people. And I try and just support everyone, whether we're all going for the same job or someone's just starting out on their journey or they're really into a career and into their business. I think the world's a small place. You're better off just giving as much love to everyone as possible. You
have to champion people. I think it's horrendous that some people decide to be green eye monsters, but you just have to park that. And as you said, just be nice to people and champion and their successes. I think it's great. And I suppose that comes down to 3 ways you try to relax, because you're always on it. You know, you never remember thinking about what's your next job.
I relax too much.
Are you? You're completely then?
I'm far too chilled. 3 ways I like to relax. Before this, I was in the gym a lot, which is good. Switch off. I'm big for kind of just music in the evenings. Sometimes I don't want to watch TV. I just want to put some good music on and just chill out, maybe with a glass of wine every now and then. But as well, me personally, going back and seeing my school friends is like, because it removes everything else that you're in every day and your work, and you just go back and reminisce. That's like one of my favourite things, is just going and seeing old friends and just giggling about stuff you did when you were 16.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah.
Keeps you
and they don't humour me at all, which is amazing. They're just like,
I have this back in Northern Ireland. I just get kickings, to be honest with you. You know, park the ego back there, Ross. Exactly. Move on.
Which is great.
I suppose the last 2 questions kind of tally in. One is, you know, where would you say 3 ambitions you still have left? You know, you're very young, you're younger than me, but what would you say 3 ambitions you have as goals, I suppose, going forward?
3 ambitions. Do you know what, if I'm doing what I'm doing now in 10 years and maybe championing some people starting out in their career, that would be amazing to me. If I could work with, there's a few people I still haven't interviewed and worked with, Lewis Hamilton being one of them. I'd love to.
We can do a shout out and say you have to do.
Yeah, Lewis, if you ever see this, let me know. I'd like to break down those doors I think Formula One's an amazing sport, but it's got a long way to come with diversity. If I could be part of that, would be incredible. And then I guess just staying consistently happy. I think never get too high, never get too low. And I think if I can stay, fortunately, last few years have been the mentally happiest I've been, so if I can keep that for Touchwoods, then I'd be in a good place.
Okay, and I suppose my last question, which leads on to that, is how many hours a day do you work? Because I suppose for you probably don't switch off.
I'm always working.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get better. I've got a screen time now, which if I've been on my phone for too long, it kicks me off all my apps, and my Do Not Disturb comes on at 8 p.m. and it's just my mum and my manager who can get hold of me after that. But
tell my wife this, because she would do it to mine away.
But I guess it's part of the job. You're always one text away from, can you go here tomorrow? Can you do this in a few days? So it's not, I mean, people have it much harder. It's not necessarily the most strenuous work, but mentally always being on. You know, everyone has down days, and then you've got a camera in your face, and you've got to be.
You've got to be, put on that persona. You know, you said you're very lucky that you enjoy it, but there is those days that you almost have to step in.
Yeah, completely, and you just have to be ready to go, and that's something I'm managing as well. People's expectation of the version they see online and the version that you are day to day, sometimes they don't quite match up. So yeah, I'm always working.
Lovely.
In answer to your question.
I think it's great. And Liam, thank you.
No,
for coming
thanks
on
so
to my
much.
podcast.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate loads in your time today. And good luck with everything you're doing. And I want to hear all about your storytelling and the fact of your courageous movement into potentially different parts of channels and stuff. So
No, amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. It's been a pleasure.
You too, sir.
Thanks.